Hey there. Well, I bought myself a brand new knife. Sometimes when you deal in vintage knives and clean up a lot of old dirty knives, you just want a new one. So I went out and I got a Boker Classic Gold camp knife. So this is kind of a special run, kind of a mid-year run they've put out. It's not in their 2018 catalog, but you can find it on their website right now. And I'll put that link so you can go take a look at it. It'll come in a presentation box like this with a cutout over this placard. And for this model, you get an extra piece of literature, a certificate, Boker Sportsmaster Classic Gold. Tells you a little bit about the knife inside. Over here German, here English. We've got the typical Zollingen blade steel 4034, which is good. Like Victorinox steel, it's adequate, but it's really not a premium feature. Rockwell hardness is 54 to 56. It's got a flat grind, it's got a mirror polish blade finish, and the handle material on this one is desert ironwood. And that was really a selling point for me on this knife, and so I want to talk about desert ironwood here in a little bit. There's also Boker's standard registration card, warranty card. You'll want to either fill that out or complete it online to get your limited lifetime warranty. They do throw in a little microfiber storage or polishing bag. That's a nice touch. And mine came like this, just in this plastic bag under one of these elastic holders. There's a little quality control sticker in there as well. I've already had this out, of course, and handled it, but I'm just showing you the way it came. So here are those desert ironwood scales. I think they're very, very beautiful, and they've got a lot of neat characteristics. But let me just read to you what Boker says about this particular model of knife. And so hang in there. But the 6-piece Boker camp knife has been manufactured by hand since 1869 in a Zollingen-based manufactory. The concept, copied many times in the course of history, combines numerous useful tools in a high-quality pocket knife. It is in production longer than any other multifunctional knife. With our classic Gold series, we are offering a deliberate counterpoint to blades of a more modern make. With their laser-engraved logo, these blades are certainly state-of-the-art, but don't necessarily exude vintage charm. For the Classic Gold series, we came back to classic craftsmanship, finishing the blades with genuine classic gold etching that used to be common for high-quality knives. Highlighting their sophisticated appearance, the knives in this series have scales made from select pieces of desert ironwood, which is not just very sturdy, but also offers a rather elegant look. So here's the blade etching they're talking about. And on the new regular models, this is a laser etch and it just says Boker or something. But what they've done here is they've gone back to an acid etch. And they've gone back to the very old logo, which just simply says Tree Brand. It says Tree Brand, registered trademark. Some of the older ones will say Tree Brand and then underneath Classic, but the really old ones, like the one I just sold, just say Tree Brand. So that's a very old logo of theirs. And as you can see, they've somehow managed to get actual gold on there, I guess. It is, like I said, acid etched, and it's deeply etched. You can feel the etching with the back of your nail. So we'll see how that holds up after cutting. I am going to use this knife. By the way, being formed in 1869, next year, 2019, will be Boker's 150th anniversary. And I'm sure they will come out with a 150th anniversary Boker camp knife. They've come out with 135th, 140th, 145th, and those have all been very interesting knives. So I was really tempted to hold off on buying this to see what the 150th anniversary knife would be like. But then I thought, if I buy that knife, I'll never use it. I want to keep it mint in the box. It'll just sit in the drawer, and Lord knows I've got enough knives like that. So I got one that I thought I could use. And it's special enough. But again, the desert ironwood is another thing that makes it special, and I want to talk about desert ironwood here in a minute because that really appealed to me. Let's just look at the rest of the knife. That's the large spear point blade. It's got a lot of belly to it. You can see it kind of has a downward cant there. And the tang stamp reads Boker, Zollingen, Germany, stainless. And there's the tree symbol to the left. On the back, there's a number. I was surprised to see this. It is serialized. That's laser etched, but I got number 32. So that's a very low number, I think. I'm happy with that, but 32 out of what, I don't know. So I actually wrote Boker and said, hey, I got this number on my knife. What does that mean? How many are you going to make? And they haven't responded yet because I just wrote them. But if I hear back from them, I'll let you know how many of these they intend to produce or have produced. The secondary blade is a small clip point blade. The edges on these blades are quite nice. They're good. There's no tank stamp on this one. The older ones had the tree brand symbol on all the tools on the top. The newer ones, of course, have a more modern can opener, like a safety style can opener. The very old ones have a plunge style can opener. Can opener looks very capable. It's thick. It's got this sharpened edge. Now this is a little gritty and stiff when I got it, but it's coming back. I'm sure that it will kind of wear in there with those brass liners are softer than the steel, so it will kind of find its place. Here's the screwdriver cap lifter. I was a little bit surprised by how thin the steel stock is for this, particularly compared to the older ones. And there's really no reason for it because there's a lot of room in there for a thicker tool. So I know the blade steel is better these days, but frankly, I would be hesitant to really torque down on a stubborn screw with that thin little screwdriver. Here's the corkscrew. It's very long on these knives. Great snap on these back tools. Here's the sharpened reamer punch. There are your brass liners. You can see they double up there in the middle. It's got nickel silver bolsters and pins, you know, the classic stuff. They're well done. The pins are flush. The transitions are good. The only little rough spot that I feel is the edges of the bail. They're a little sharp. Those could have been tumbled down or something. I may have to file this down a little bit. Here's the badge. I believe it's nickel silver. It reads Zoligen. It's nicely set in the desert ironwood. The desert ironwood is actually thicker than the bolsters and then has been tapered down to the bolsters. So it's a nice hefty knife. This knife weighs 4 full ounces. I can't remember how many grams that is. But let me just talk about the desert ironwood for a minute because that's one of the things that really appealed to me. Desert ironwood is like a small shrubby kind of tree that only grows in southwestern United States and northwestern Mexico, right there in the Sonora Desert region. Let me put in a graphic of where it grows. So number one, I like the vintage charm of this knife. You know, the fact that it's such an old model. It's made in Zoligen, handmade the way it's been made for 150 years by experts. But also because it's got some Americana in there, you know, wood that can only be found here in North America. And it is really cool wood. Let me read to you what the wood database says about desert ironwood. First of all, just workability. It says that it's very difficult to work with on account of its density. It has high cutting resistance, and it's usually restricted to small projects. Let's see what it says about pricing and availability. The small size of the tree, in combination with its restricted distribution and relative scarcity or rarity, means that desert ironwood is scarce. Means that desert ironwood is in scarce supply. Expect prices to be extremely high for a domestic hardwood or on par with many high-end exotic imported hardwoods, usually seen as turning or knife blanks, blah, blah, blah. Comments. Desert ironwood is perhaps one of the most highly regarded of all woods in knife making, with its density, stability, and grain patterns and colors, creating a unique combination of characteristics that's ideal for decorative handles. So it's cool wood. It is scarce, but it's not on the endangered list. It is, however, illegal to harvest it live. You may only collect dead and down pieces. It's so dense and hard, as a matter of fact, that if dropped in water, it immediately sinks to the bottom. This is wood that is too dense to float. So I thought that was cool. It not only looks great, but I know it's probably going to really hold up and take a lot less dings and dents and stuff than other wood might. So I'm excited to have the knife. I think it's really, really nice. These retail for, on Boker's website, $229, which I think is a fantasy because you can buy them for substantially less than that, and I did. So if you want one, you know, go check them out. Shop around. You can get them for a lot less than the suggested retail. And they are a classic knife. They're just one of those kind of knives that if you like classic vintage knives, you need a place for this in your collection. All right, that's what I say. Thanks for watching, and have fun collecting.